Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Brewer's Minute. So this week, we are going to take a few minutes to delve into a topic that I think is super important when it comes to building decks, and that is the idea of opportunity cost. So if you're not familiar with opportunity cost, it's a word that comes from economics, and its literal definition is the loss of potential gain from other alternatives when one alternative is chosen. So if you choose to go out to the movies, you're costing yourself the opportunity to go to your Friday Night Magic. If you choose to leave your money under your pillow, underneath your bed, you're losing the opportunity to have that invested in the stock market, in a bank account, in Magic cards. So there's this opportunity cost that comes with our decision-making process, and this is actually super important when it comes to building decks and deciding what cards are in the deck. So a quick reminder before we break down opportunity costs in Magic deck building. If you enjoy Brewer's Minute and the other series here on the channel, it would be amazing of you if you could take a quick second, click that subscribe button down in the corner of your screen. It's a great way to support the channel and the site for free. So what does opportunity cost mean for deck building? And probably the easiest way to kind of illuminate this and give an example is a question that I get all the time. And that question is, can card X work in deck Y? I think the last version of this question I got was, can Thraben Inspector work in Blue-White Emeria? So that's the question, and the answer is yes. Thraben Inspector can work in Blue-White Emeria. There's no doubt about it. It's a white card, it kind of fits the general theme of the deck, you can get it back with Sun Titan, etc., etc. So can it work? Yes, is the answer. However, that's not actually the right question to be asking if you're building a deck. The right question is, what is the opportunity cost of playing Thraben Inspector in Blue-White Emeria? And by that I mean, what cards do we have to take out to make room for Thraben Inspector? What is not going to be in our deck? What are we costing ourselves the opportunity to play? Remember, Magic decks have 60 cards, and there's no good justification for playing more than 60 cards. So that's all you have to work with, and almost half of those slots, or more than a third of those slots, are going to be dedicated to lands in a typical Magic deck, so you have a very finite number of available card slots to work with in a deck. So putting a card in your deck, even if it's a good card, is a huge opportunity cost because it's costing you the opportunity to play something else in that slot. So if we go back to Thraben Inspector and Blue-White Emeria, if you look over a Blue-White Emeria list, the question is, what are we going to take out of that deck to put in Thraben Inspector? So Thraben Inspector, it could be a 9.5 out of 10 in Blue-White Emeria, and if every other card is a 10 out of 10, it's a bad decision to bring it into the deck because we're going to be cutting a better card. So that's how you have to think about deck building, and while I would say yes, Thraben Inspector can work in Blue-White Emeria, I would also say no, I wouldn't play Thraben Inspector in Blue-White Emeria because the opportunity cost of playing Thraben Inspector is going to be Lone Missionary, which is better, or Wall of Omens, which is better, or Korhasar, or Flicker Whisper, all these other more important, better cards for the deck. So that's how you have to think of deck building, and don't ask, can this card work? Ask, what's the opportunity cost of playing this card? So maybe my favorite all-time example of this is something that comes up every now and then when a new powerful Planeswalker is spoiled, and that is, can I play Nicole Bolas in Tron in Modern? We'll just play Oath of Nissa, we will fix all of our mana, we'll ramp into all these crazy Planeswalkers, and again, the answer is yes. You can play the new Nicole Bolas in Modern Tron if you're playing Oath of Nissa, so you can cast it, but that's a thing you can do. It could work. You could make a deck that would be able to cast your spells. So the answer is yes. The question is, once again, opportunity cost. In this case, you're going to be costing yourself the opportunity to play Karn. So is the new Nicole Bolas better than Karn? I don't know. Let's say it is. Let's grant for the sake of this Brewer's Minute and for this argument that Nicole Bolas God Pharaoh is better than Karn Liberated. Still, though, when you consider you're going to have to play Oath of Nissas, you're going to have to find the mana to cast Oath of Nissas, and kind of warp your deck to play Nicole Bolas, is all of the things that go into casting a Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh in your Tron deck, is it still going to be better than Karn Liberated? And the answer there is pretty clearly no. When you consider all the hoops you have to jump through, the opportunity cost of playing Nicol Bolas is pretty high, because not only does it make you not play Karn Liberated, presumably, because you can only play so many 7-8 mana Planeswalkers in one deck, but it's going to cost you the opportunity to do a lot of other things as well, because you're going to have to find room for 4 copies of Oath of Nissa. You're going to have to be able to have other ways of finding your Oath of Nissa, digging through your deck, because you're never going to cast Nicol Bolas with Tron lands without finding it. So you're really having this super high opportunity cost for, even if we grant that it's a gain, a somewhat minimal gain. Even if we say Nicol Bolas God Pharaoh is better than Karn Liberated, it's not leaps and bounds better. It's not like we're trading a Crawl Worm for a Karn Liberated or something, or we're like, oh my god, Karn Liberated is so much stronger than Crawl Worm, I will do anything possible to be able to cast this card. So next time you sit down to build a Magic deck, don't ask yourself, can this card work in my deck? Because that's the wrong question. Ask yourself, what's the opportunity cost of playing this card? What am I going to have to cut from my deck to make room for this card? What are the other ramifications that might not be obviously apparent at first glance? The fact that you're going to have to warp your mana base to play Oath of Nissa, to play your Nicol Bolas. And when you look at that whole picture, how high is the opportunity cost? And does the decision still make sense when you have all that information as far as the opportunity cost laid out in front of you? And I think that that will lead to much more effective and functional decks, much more powerful decks, I guess, is the biggest takeaway, because it's very easy to think, oh, this card's powerful in a vacuum. It's very powerful, so I'm going to play it in my deck, but that's the wrong way of looking at it, because that's not taking into account the opportunity cost of playing that card, as we've been talking about the whole time. So next time you sit down to make a deck, ask yourself, what's the opportunity cost of playing this card? Not, can I play this card? And you're going to end up with much better finished products, much better decks as a result of asking yourself the question in that way. So anyway, that's been our Brewers Minute for this week. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.